This is Craig Petty's new video game effect, Level Up, a modern trick that uses game cartridges. But is this worth the $60 price tag, and is it right for you? Stick around to find out. I love Nintendo because I can carry around my games everywhere. These are two of my favorites. They're called Quest for Corbus and Crazy Chauffeur. And I'd hand these out to my spectators. They can check them out, make sure they are ordinary. And we don't need the case, so we'll put that away. We'll only use these, the 2 game chips. Now, there's a crazy thing that happens when I take the Quest for Corbus over here, the purple one, and the Crazy Chauffeur here. When I touch my thumbs together, they switch places. That might have been a little too fast. We'll try it again. So we'll take Quest for Corbus here, the purple one, and Crazy Chauffeur here. But when I touch the thumbs together, this is now Quest for Corbus. But when I touch the thumbs together again, now this is Quest for Corbus, and they change again. Now I'm going to show you the exact moment that change happens. It happens, watch, Crazy Chauffeur, Quest for Corbus. When I squeeze, this is now Crazy Chauffeur, and this is Quest for Corbus. Then I'd have my spectator hold their hand out, close their hand on the game chips, take out the top chip, give it to me, and then it's the purple one, we fist bump, and now I have the blue and they have the purple. And that is Level Up. So what do you get when you buy Level Up? You get this nice box, and inside the box you get the case that has room for the game cartridges. It is a magnet enclosed box, and it has room for 12 cartridges. In this case though, you only get 4. You get 4 special cartridges. 3 of them are ungimmicked and 1 of them is a gimmick. Obviously these cartridges do not have real games in them. They are replicas. But the games aren't real either. Crazy Chauffeur's not a real name. Quest for Corbus is not a real game. But because there's so many games that exist nowadays, it's hard for people to know, oh, I spot that. That's not a real game. And yeah, the final thing you get is the link to the tutorial. What is the quality of the gimmick? First, let's talk about the case. The case is very well made. It has a nice texture, and it is just a bit wider than a deck of cards. Here, I'll show you it. This is the case. It's very nice quality. It has a silicone molding on the inside. The game cartridges are also pretty good quality. There's no moving parts with the gimmicks, so they should last you quite a long time. I noticed a tiny bit of bubbling with the stickers on the game cartridges, but it's not a lot, and it will not affect the functionality of the gimmicks at all. This set should last you a lifetime as long as you take care of it. The gimmicks are made of plastic, and they are the exact same size as regular game cartridges. And they look like regular game cartridges too. The size of these are also the perfect sizes for palming. And the cartridges, if you look closely, they're not Nintendo brand. They actually say Nintendo. But I don't think the audience should notice as long as you don't draw too much attention to the chips. If they look for too long, it's possible that the audience figures out that these aren't real, especially if the audience is a gamer, is full of gamers who have Nintendo chips of their own. That's one concern I had. Now, how's the tutorial? The tutorial is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. The tutorial has chapters as well, which is great because you can navigate through the tutorial easier. There's a trailer, some live performances, and an intro, what you get to the setup and the routines. There is the main routine, the 2 cartridge trick, the chip trick, thanks to Roth, for Cam, Shades of Imagination 2, my 2 faves, Penguin Punch, Creation, Triple S, and then Craig teaches the moves. He teaches finger palm, classic palm, finger palm vanish, point and transfer movement, Roth switch, utility switch, and so much more. Craig recommends that since there are only 4 cartridges, you should buy your own to fill up the case. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about that because I don't want to spend nearly $60 or $80 per game, and then just have that in my pocket. Obviously, the case will well protect the gimmicks, but what if I lose this case, right? So it might have been nice if they included some more fake games that could be put in, but I almost like the feel of it being half empty or almost empty, because you could say you're just starting out to get into video games, and then because not everyone's a pro gamer. So when you just say you're starting out video games, you're connecting with your audience who doesn't really play video games, because it's like, yeah, I like games, but I'm just starting out. And then they could be like, oh yeah, I'm not too good at games either, but I'm starting out too. I don't know. That's just personal preference. That may not make any sense to you, but to me, I like to do it like that. Social media or a real life effect. What is this? This effect has some great visuals, so it would work great on social media, but it works just as good in real life. And it's super commercial because it happens in the spectator's hands. What are the angles like? For most of the effects, the angles are perfect. You can be completely surrounded, which is nice. Is this examinable? Yes. At the end of the routine, everything can be examined, including the game cartridges and the case. This is because the gimmicked cartridge is out of play by the end of the routine. The cartridges look very real, so they should stand up to a bit of scrutiny. But make sure that they're not looking too close, because they will notice if they look too close and they are familiar with game chips, they could notice that these aren't real and they're just stickers. But it's pretty important that you have these examined, because I think the method, a heckler could try guess the method, but when you hand these out, that completely extinguishes their theory, which is nice. But let's talk about the difficulty and practicality of the effect. How hard is this to do? I don't think this routine is that difficult at all. A beginner should be able to learn this within about half an hour of practice. If you can do a shuttle pass, you should be fine. But you need to learn, but everything you need to learn for this effect is taught in the tutorial. So you can be a complete beginner and watch the tutorial all the way through, and then you'll know how to do this. This is also very practical in many environments, because game cartridges are regular items. They look like everyday objects, even though not everyone plays video games, but they don't look like magic props. Everyone knows what they are. Everyone's seen one of these. And this is also good because you don't need a table. You can do this close up and walk around, in many different environments, even strolling, or maybe even, I don't think parlor or stage would be good because these are too small, but these would work in many different close-up environments. Is there any DIY? No, there's no DIY required. These come ready to go right out of the box. Pocket space. The pocket space is just this console, which is slightly less thick than a deck of cards and a bit wider than a deck of cards as well. There's also one more cartridge, the gimmicked cartridge, that you have to carry in the same pocket as the carrying case, but you don't keep the gimmicked cartridge in the case. But the pocket space isn't too much, but it's not a small amount of pocket space either. You should be able to carry a deck of cards and this in your pocket, and maybe even keys and a phone if you're stuffing your pocket. But yeah, I don't think the pocket space is too much or a small amount, if that makes sense. What is the reset like for this? Level Up by Craig Petty resets instantly. You just put the case in your pocket and you're reset, which is great. What is the price of Level Up? Okay. So here's the main talking point of this effect. This is the main thing that people have been talking about. This costs $60 US. Is this worth the price? Personally, I think for the cartridges and the case, this is expensive. I think it would have been better at $40 or $50. That would have been the ideal price range for this, in my opinion. I understand all the R&D that was required to get the perfect case and the perfect cartridges and the right colors so they pop, which it's been done well. But yeah, I think this would have been a little better at 40 to 50 bucks. That being said though, if this is something you could see yourself using a lot and putting it into your close-up repertoire, the price should be worth it. This is very commercial material, and I think this is great for people's repertoire. So it really depends on what you think of this effect. If you like what you see, then the price shouldn't be too much. But if this is just something you're going to use once or twice and then throw in the drawer, which that's not going to be the case for me, but I'm just throwing this out there. If you like this, this is worth the price. If you do not, then you should get something else maybe. But I personally think, it's worth the price for me, but it won't be for everyone. It could have been maybe 40 or 50 bucks. What are the pros and cons with this? The pros are, this is very nice. The carrying case is very nice. The props are very well designed. This is easy to do. Perfect angles. It happens in the spectator's hands. The colors on the cartridges pop. This is examinable at the start and end of the routine. And no table is required to do this. The cons are, this is a little expensive. Also, if they look at the chips for too long, I think it's possible that the audience does figure out that these aren't real chips, especially if they have Nintendo chips of their own. But that's all. What percent does Level Up get from me? I really like Level Up by Craig Petty. So I'm going to give it an 89%. I will definitely be performing this. It is very commercial, but it is a bit expensive. But if you plan on using this, I promise you it'll be worth it. But yeah, 89% for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.